Yes guys, it's Jando. Day 5 of consistent uploading, and today we're going to be looking at an Amplify style womp bass. I'm going to get straight into the patch here and look at how I made it. This is a track that I've started. It's currently like a work in progress, but I thought I'd show you how I made this Amplify style jump up womp bass. So we've got some drums to go along with it this time so you can hear it in contrast. But this is the track that we've got so far. Yeah, currently a work in progress, but we're going to check out this this womp bass that I've made. Yes guys, if you're interested in copying sample packs, preset packs, one-to-one production sessions with myself, mix and mastering services, as well as mix and mastering lessons, and a full drum and bass production masterclass, which is built up of 10 plus videos, very in depth, then drop me a message on Instagram. My Instagram is @JandoUK. I will be launching a website very soon, so this will make it a hell of a lot easier. But yeah, be sure to join the Discord as well. Enjoy the video. So starting off with this Xfer Serum patch, we're going to go over in oscillator A. We're going to select our wavetables to start with. So we're going to start off with harmonic series. And on oscillator B, we're going to go over to basic shapes and leave it on a sine wave there. We're going to do the same as always and turn the sub on. We're going to leave it at 0 octaves. Then we're going to drag LFO1 over to the level of that at 75. We're going to do the same with oscillator A and B. We're going to drop the random down to 0 and the level down to 0 on both of them. We're going to put 75% from the LFO1 onto the level of oscillator A. Next, we're going to move the wavetable position here to position 3. And then we're going to turn on FM from B, oscillator A. We're going to push this up to about 40%. 39% there is fine. Then we're going to push the octave of oscillator A up +1. Next, we're going to go over to the filter and switch the filter on. And we're going to go with PHS 48 plus. At the moment, as you can probably tell, this is my favourite filter to use. The sounds that I can get out of this is just nuts, so I'm just continuously using this at the moment. We're going to set the cutoff to about 200 Hertz. 198 is fine. I'm going to drag LFO1 onto it, and we're going to do a very, very tiny amount. Yeah, 1 or 2% we're going to go with. Then we're going to set the res over here to about 60%, 62% to be precise, but yeah, around 60%. And then we're going to put LFO1 onto it, pull that all the way back. So far, you should have a sound similar to this. Next, we're going to put LFO1 onto the drive, and we're going to have that at about 20% there. And we're also going to click on here, this S, which is going to filter the sub for us. Right, so we've got all the oscillators and the filters out of the way, so we're going to head over to the LFO shape now, and we're going to sort this out. First of all, we're going to change this from off to envelope, and then we're going to make our shape. So our shape this time is going to be something like this. A little down ramp, like a notch at the top. You can hear that sound already coming through. Yours might not sound precisely like that, seeing as on the bass group I do have a tiny bit of hue and reverb. So I'll turn this off, and this is what it should sound like for you by now. So I'm just going to keep these off for the time being so we can get a true sound. Next, we're going to head over to the FX tab. In the FX tab, we're going to turn on hyperdimension, distortion, compressor, EQ, and filter. We're going to have them in this order as well. So for the hyperdimension, normally I drop the mix all the way down to 0. On this one, we're going to leave it at 50%, and then we're going to do the same as always on the right side. We're going to do 15% on both of them. Distortion is also going to be the same as always, stomp box. Personally, I feel like this is mode. It gives that extra little grit for these style of basses. We're going to do a slight bit of gain stage in here, and we're going to do 7 decibels. And now for the EQ, we're just going to boost these highs very slightly, not a huge amount. Yeah, so this is how we're going to do the EQ. So we're going to have 5.3k hertz on the freak, 29% on the Q, and 14.5 on the gain. And this is kind of personal preferences as to how you want to EQ it. I mean, you can do a bit more, a bit less, mess around with it, see what you prefer, but this is the tones that I like coming out of this. For the filter here, we're going to go over to flanges, PHS 48 plus again. We're going to do the cutoff at about 900 hertz. 931 hertz we're going to do the cutoff at. So once we've done that, we're going to go back up to hyperdimension really quick and turn down the rate and the detune all the way to 0. This is the sound that you should have so far, and now we're going to go over to do a little bit of post-processing. So we're going to turn on our reverb, and these are the settings that I've got for my reverb. 14.43% on the mix. And on the EQ, we're just cutting that low section there, so that we can put a sub underneath it. Next, we're going to go over to our distortion, post-processing on the, as always, decapitator and camel crusher, best combo. These are the settings that I've got for that. Then, we should have a bass that sounds a little bit like this. Yeah, that's the bass, and we're going to quickly show you the other two patches that we've got in here. Well, I'll show you one of the patches that we've got for this little, like, roll into the sound. You can see it's like a little womp rise or like a warp. It's a very similar, it's the exact same patch, so if you want to, like, copy and paste the patch, duplicate it. But I've just moved the rate back to 1.5 bar here. And it just gives it that warp effect. We have that position just before the womp starts. I did that on this one here, 1.5 bar. Like a little warp effect. Then the other patch, I'm not going to get into this patch too much, but I'll just show you the Serum patch itself quickly. Messed around with, I think we've messed around with the filter on this one a little bit. This is the patch for this one as well. We've got +2 on oscillator A and -2 on oscillator B, and we've boosted the drive slightly. The res and the cutoff are the same, and I believe everything else is the same, so it's pretty much the same patch. If you duplicate that patch as well, what you need to do is +2 on the octave of oscillator A and -2 on oscillator B. Then just boost the drive slightly as well. Drive here is at about 40, so 39 there. I've used that as kind of little, like, ad-libby style sound. So yeah, that is the patch, and then we've just got a sub bass underneath it here. I'm not going to go into the sub bass patch because it's just a very normal, boring sub bass patch. But yeah, that's it for the patch. Yeah, if you enjoyed this, then head over to my Patreon, because I'm going to be dropping this patch on my Patreon. Well, all 3 of those patches I'm dropping on my Patreon now for free. It's only £5 a month, so it's pretty much on very much on the cheap side of Patreon subscriptions. £5 a month, and I'm going to be dropping those of all of the patches that I do in these videos are will just go straight onto my Patreon, as well as free sample packs and discounts on pretty much everything. But yeah, nice one.